Thursday morning. It is August the 21st. Rise and shine. Good morning to you. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, and hopefully get your day started off on the right note. Want to right off the top get you updated. Hurricane Erin pulling away from our coastal waters. As it does so, we are going to start transitioning away from its influence and back to our regularly scheduled programming, which is certainly good news. Here's a look at the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And again, expected to continue pulling away from not only the southeastern United States, but also the United States as a whole, becoming a non-tropical low by this weekend. And then look what happens afterward, kind of up near, look at that. Isn't that something? Spain, Portugal, further to the north. Look at that. There's London. How often do you see a tropical system and Paris on the same map? Doesn't happen every day, but here we are, right? So anyway, there's the storm system itself pulling away from us little bit by little bit. Now we still have, of course, the rough surf and the rip currents. That is absolutely still a thing. High surf advisories in effect through tonight. Rip current risk stays dangerous all the way through Friday. Okay, that's kind of where we're at in terms of this system. When we look at the wave action for Central Florida, our seas are going to be running 5 to 8, 5 to 9 feet. Again today, the modeling has kind of kept that around a little bit longer than first thought. And then afterward, into this weekend, things should start to calm little bit by little bit by little bit. Okay, so that's the very latest with Erin. Questions, comments, concerns about Erin, and then we can move on and see what else is doing in the tropics this morning. I'll raise my cup of coffee to you. See how we're doing. Everybody, good morning. Jessica, you only live once. That's it. YOLO, good morning. Keither on YouTube says, bye, Erin. Bye, Felicia. Bye there. See ya. Right? Good morning to you. Nikki, good morning to you. YOLO, good morning to you. Amy, or maybe they were saying, yeah, not you only live once, but was saying good morning to YOLO. See, that's what happens when I read the comments backward. Keither's asking, no chance of it looping around. No, the atmosphere is very much letting Erin go. Letting it go, letting it go. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye, you nasty. Yeah, no, it's going away. Thankfully, not going to be a problem for us. That's the latest satellite imagery, all right? So, that's what's doing with Erin, all right? Any other questions, comments, concerns about Erin before we move forward and check out the rest of the tropics? 47, 30, 30. All right, let me just update this graphic. Kellyanne didn't get a chance to do it. Stand by. See, I was trying to do this without you even knowing, but here we are. I couldn't multitask enough. 30, 70, 30, 30. Give me 2 seconds. Of course, it comes down like right as I hit start on Coffee Talk. Okay, perfect. Hit save on that. Okay. All right. To the rest of the tropics. Let's see what's doing. Of course, we've got Erin off the coastline of the United States. Then there's a couple of waves across the main development region. New area, a new third area highlighted in yellow there. Standby. And then that's 40 and 40. See, this is where, hold on a second. I got it wrong. 40 and 40. So this one, see, I was trying to be coy and I ended up messing it up. All right, hold on. 40, 40 for this one. Stand by. 40, 40. And then there's another one that's 30, 30 up here. 40, 40. And then you hold, see, this is why Coffee Talk is not ready to be on TV. And then 30, 30. Perfect. 3 areas of interest in the tropics. So let's go back out to the satellite loop. So you've got 3 areas out there. Erin pulling away, and then 1, 2, 3 kind of working across the main development region. The first one on the left-hand side of the open Atlantic has a 70% likelihood of developing over the next 7 days' time. There's another one kind of further north, has a 30% chance of development over the next 7 days' time, and then the wave behind it has a 40% chance. So three waves in addition to Erin out there. Okay. The good news is the model data does not look terrifying on all of these. The raw view with you is fun, though. It's neat to see you do your job live. I just want to give you a more, I'm trying to fine tune and finesse it. I want you to at least have a good experience, a good consumer experience with it. Yeah, Frank, right. Not ready for pride. I'm like the early Saturday Night Live of meteorology. Tim says, see, you do control the weather. No, no, sir. All right. So there's just kind of the overall flow of the Atlantic. Okay. So far, so good. Let's look at some raw model data, just kind of get an idea of where everything goes. Now, yesterday we had a really good discussion about the way this all plays out. All right, so there's Erin recurving, staying out to sea. There's that next wave recurving, getting close to Bermuda. Not a huge concern there. And then beyond that, a little wave you see in the southern Caribbean. A lot of high pressure around. A lot of high pressure. And what I really like is that there is no big threats. This is September 6th. There are no big threats on the GFS through September 6th. YOLO says, I don't want any of the three to hit Miami. GFS would have you saying, no, that's not the case. All right, let's go back. Switch over to the European. There's Erin recurving, pulling out to sea. There's the next wave. Developing, staying outside of Bermuda. While there may be a homegrown system trying to get going on Monday along the Outer Banks, and then back to the 0Z. There's your indication of the slow Gulf low, right? Doesn't look tropical, but there's the Euro is continuing to show the slow Gulf low part of the pattern. Maybe it's tropical, a homegrown deal, but either way, not a big threat, thankfully. Yeah, and then we go back to Erin. So that's looking great. Euro AI. Next wave, homegrown. The slow Gulf low kind of developing, pulling up maybe along an old frontal boundary. That's all we've got. Yeah. So the models are looking really quiet. The deterministic. Let's look at the ensembles. There's that next wave. Some ensemble support for some development there. Not a huge deal. Some ensemble support there around the end of August, but nothing significant. Look at that. How wild. We're heading into the peak of hurricane season, and it is as quiet as a mouse. There are the Hornets out there for that next wave. And then beyond that, slow Gulf low signal there. Wow. I love that. I really love that. Euro AI, let's look at those ensembles and then we can move on. Okay, so you can kind of see there's some ensemble support on the Euro AI for something around the Gulf, late August into early September. Not significant support, but some support. So to that point, we're heading into the peak of hurricane season. Yeah, I mean, we've got three areas to watch out there. But as Christy points out on Facebook, Christy says the Madden-Julian oscillation is just not in phase. That's correct. And as long as the Madden-Julian oscillation is not in phase, you're going to struggle to get any kind of tropical development. Now, what is the Madden-Julian oscillation? Let's put that up real fast. We've talked about this quite a bit, but essentially, the way that the Madden-Julian oscillation works is that when you've got lift in the atmosphere, you're in phase with the MJO. So watch how the Atlantic turns kind of brown. There's not any, we're out of phase, but look what goes in phase is the Pacific, right? This is going to be Friday, the 29th of August. The Atlantic is kind of out of phase. Now, we do go back in phase a little bit. Let's just come a little closer. We don't need to see the world on this one. But looking around, there's an opportunity around here around September 1st second, third. MJO kind of hints at going a little more into phase around the Caribbean, a little closer to home. So it may be around early September that we have the opportunity to see some sort of development, perhaps a little closer, we'll say, right? That's going to be the opportunity there. That's going to be the location there to look for, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So definitely something to watch, right? Definitely something to watch. Okay. Does that sound good? Questions, comments, concerns? Do we have anything? Do we have anything at all? We good? Yes? Maybe? I'm liking what I'm seeing. Matt's asking for the BSR. Mickey's asking for the BSR. I know it's the most reliable this time. Yeah, so it's not the most reliable this time of year, but we can do it. Stand by. Give me a second to get it dialed up. So, we like to use some non-traditional methods on the coffee talk. But essentially, the BSR kind of gives us an idea of overall weather patterns. All right. So, right off the bat, you said the word quiet. I know. Mike, I'm concerned that you haven't seen the video I tagged you in on X. Can you do it again, Mike? I admittedly didn't see it. Bruce says calm weather is nice. That's correct. That's correct. Let's see. So, getting my calendar up. So, this is valid. So, this is Monday or so of next week. So, a little low, kind of hanging out around the Gulf, but nothing significant there through the. That's around the 31st into the 1st. Now we're into September. There's a little low there in the Gulf early September. So that kind of plays out, but there's no big signals of anything. Now, that's interesting there. Early September, this would lead me to believe that there's going to be a pretty good front in early September up north of us. And that good front is going to produce a decent little storm system in the northeastern United States that may become something interesting to watch off of the East Coast. But other than that, I don't see like any home run tropical deals. I really don't. This time of year, it has been oddly quiet. And I'm not saying that to like tempt the beast here. It's just it is what it is. A little that's more of a severe weather deal than a tropical deal there. And that takes us through mid-September. Could we be that quiet? Again, the BSR is not the greatest product this time of year, so take it with a grain of salt. I will say, though, that there are three areas to watch in the Atlantic, but none look to be overly threatening. All right? Frank, I'll show Futurecast without the box when we get toward the end. Yeah. Let's see here. I think chat is as quiet as the weather models. Josh on YouTube says Facebook is usually very active. The chat on YouTube is typically a little quieter. So if you're interested in a little more lively chat, Josh, it may be that you'll want to move over to Facebook. YouTube though is it still comes to me just the same. Yeah. All right. All right. Big cold front pushing down is a blessing, Frank. I wouldn't say that big cold front moves to us, but I digress. All right. So that's where we're at, tropically speaking. Now, let's move to the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Here's what we know in terms of the forecast, okay? It's going to start sunny. Showers will build through the day. May see some storms around just before race time. But into race time, the rain should start to fade. The question is how much of that lingers around race time, right? So for the race itself, here we go. All right. Storms around for the afternoon. Some chance of it lingering for race time if you're enjoying that's Saturday. If you're looking Friday night, the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola is looking a little bit um what I'm trying to say is it's looking almost identical. I need more coffee. Some lingering showers, but looks to be clearing. So all in, if you're heading over to Daytona this weekend, I think the forecast looks good because they're later races. Okay, that's where we're at the moment. Okay, looking better and better and better. All right. Kim says let's not jinx it. Oh, and talking about the tropics, yeah. Yukon, can we just get some rain in Melbourne 1 or 2 days a week? Very dry year. I mean, it's been a different forecast for sure for us, right? Let's dial up the 7-day forecast here, okay? And you'll notice there is an opportunity for showers and storms each and every day, right? 50% coverage of rain each and every day, highs kind of in the low to mid 90s. Average high has dropped, I'll have you notice. Let me lose the box. Normal high is 91. Okay? Normal high is 91. I mean, it's hot, don't get me wrong. Lisa Ann, please cease and desist with the Q word. I get you. I get you. Jonathan, does this affect the forecasted hurricane season, or does that mean the bulk of it is coming? I mean, in terms of numbers, we're definitely starting to run a little behind what I was expecting. I can only speak to myself. When we put our forecast together and what Jeremy and I kind of call for, we're definitely running a little behind what I was expecting. You know, we've had storms this season for sure, but I would have expected getting into, I mean, I would say if we get to September without Fernand, I would be, it would be slower than I was expecting. So for what it's worth, next name on the list, by the way, is Fernand. Not expecting anything to threaten us here in Central Florida, but I digress. Yeah, we're definitely running a little quieter than we were thinking, at least Jeremy and I. But that said, any one of these could pop off, etc., etc., etc. As long as it doesn't pop off and come here, that's all. That's all I want. Leslie says, I quit Facebook about 10 years ago. I have never had a regret. I feel that. I feel that indeed. Deanna says, Disney trip Saturday. Sounds fun to me. Definitely sounds fun to me. All right, let's look at Futurecast for the day ahead today, see where we're at. If I can find the button. Here we are. All right. Futurecast for today. And I told my brother Frank I would lose the inset box just for him. All right, so we're looking good through late morning. 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock, popping up a couple of showers. 1, 2 o'clock, storms around, right? 3, 4 o'clock, widespread showers and storms. So to that point, there's more of a coverage of rain today than what we've seen these last few days. And then 5, 6 o'clock, everything wants to work over toward the East Coast, clearing out by 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So that, my friends, is good news. All right? Questions, comments, concerns? What do you have? What's in your head? What do you want to talk about? And while we're talking about it, I will pop up our 7-day forecast. How we doing? Kelly says North Carolina here had enough precipitation, need dry weather before more winds and rain. Every storm lately drops trees. Sure, and yet isn't it so interesting that we have been dry down here in Central Florida a little bit, right? Yeah. Yep. All right. Still, think about it. There have been crazy years where there have not been maybe 1 or 2 storms by now. Well, it's true. Like think about 2004 Hurricane Charlie, the sea name storm, struck on August the 13th. Hurricane Andrew What day did Hurricane Andrew strike, right? It struck during the month of August, okay? And striking during the month of August, mid to late August, it was the A named storm. So it goes to the idea that, truthfully, you need one hurricane, one named storm. And we're coming up, by the way, on quite an anniversary. We're coming up on quite an anniversary. It is coming up on the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Not wild. The 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, striking in August of 2005. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I traveled to New Orleans earlier this year and put together a body of work that I'm hoping to put together as a story that will air on Wesh 2 News. I was speaking with my news director about this yesterday. Margaret Orr, WDSU's chief meteorologist emeritus, and I know we spoke about this. She took me around to the lower Ninth Ward. She took me around to some of the sites, and boy, did I speak with some folks. So I'm going to be putting that story together for the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina's landfall. Wow. Something else. It's wild to think 20 years. Wild to think. Joseph says college football this weekend. Yeah, buddy. College football starts. Thank goodness. Roberto, here's my question. When are you inviting me over for a barbecue again? I guess we'll have to get that eventually. Um, let's see here. Mickey saw another TV station was saying this Friday, Saturday could be extra stormy. 5 inches of rain in spots. Thoughts? Over 2 days' time, 5 inches of rain in spots is absolutely plausible. I mean, am I thinking that I should be hyping anything? You know, when you look at the forecast here, sure looks to me like Friday and Saturday have a pretty much the same shot of rain. 50-50. You know, I mean, I'm not going to hype anything. I don't know who said that or what, but yeah. Matt says Hurricane Andrew landfall 8/24/92. Yeah. Yep. With technology like Futurecast, does it use the same model data from the GFS Euro, or does that model data get provided by another system? Yeah, so Shane, it's all the same input. It's upper air, it's surface. And let me also add, what's kind of neat is Futurecast just got a big upgrade. Thank you for bringing that up, Shane, because I would have forgotten to even mention this. So yesterday, we started pulling in with the 18Z run yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, right at the time of model run. So it takes all this data, compiles all this data. The very last phase before running the model is it takes the latest observation one last time and gets running. And now it's also cognizant of the earlier run. So the idea here is by adding the earlier run into the new Futurecast run, we're starting to get consistency. It's going to start to try to be more consistent. Now, remember we talked about consistency breeds confidence. It'll be curious to see, does it go overly consistent, but the idea is so that you don't have such significant wibble wobbles between runs. So that's number one. Number two, by adding that in there, it kind of helps it to understand what it was thinking earlier as it moves forward. So that's a big step. And then that last, take the current observation data in, that last element of that also can only help. So great things. Great things. Futurecast got a big upgrade this week. Biggest upgrade that I have seen in some time with Futurecast. So worked with our vendor who helps us with that, and that was a big one. Yep, big upgrade. Yeah. Sean's asking on Facebook, hey, quick one. When you're watching the afternoon convection setup here, what's the main tell for you on radar or mesoanalysis that a boundary collision is about to flip a pulse storm into a legit mesocyclone? Is it mainly looking at low-level SRH values, or do you key more off mid-level lapse rates and outflow behavior? It's all about the outflow and sea breeze boundaries. So Sean, I mean, lapse rates give you an idea of the overall setup, right? And you're looking at, where is there an inversion layer? That gives you an idea for the overall setup. But in terms of the watching the convection here locally, to your initial question, Sean, it's all about watching those thin lines. And that's one of the things, and we haven't looked at it even yet today, but that's one of the big things that we have our live radar tuned for. You see how noisy it is right here? We can clean it up, right? There it is cleaned up. But when we're into afternoon storm mode, we keep it noisy on purpose because when you lapse the noise, like right now, that's garbledygook. That may be super light sprinkles in around Altoona Aster, but by keeping it noisy like this, it gives us the chance to see. And I don't think we take the data. I don't think I buffer the data far enough back. Let me look. Stand by here. Do we buffer the radar data back 12 hours, 16, 24 hours? Hold on, I'm pulling up the radar data just to see. Give it a second. But reflectivity, yeah, we keep our local radar 6 hours and that's it. I'm going to set that back to 12. I'll set it back to 12 for now, but it's not like it's going to help us any. Give it a second. See, now I changed the setting. But at any rate, even 12 hours wouldn't help us out much. But look on our live radar. So if you go to the WESH app, and this is a good way to tell for those of you that are curious, like what I'm even talking about. If you go to the WESH app, okay, WESH app, top left corner, the little three boxes, click the weather, the plus on the weather, weather plus, click the radar, okay? Once you click the radar, it opens up the radar. That's great ish. Pro tip, bottom corner, the little sandwich, click the stack, and it defaults to radar, but you want to go into first warning live Doppler radar. You hit that and then close. And notice now you've got the same garbledygook that I have because you're tapping into our radar. During the afternoon storms, or even when it's quiet, start looking at the coastlines because if you hit play, you'll start to see those actual sea breeze lines developing. Let me see if I can find like an old tweet. Eric Burris, Twitter. Oh, I'm just looking to see. Ah, okay. Here's a perfect one. This is a tweet. This is a tweet. Hopefully it'll work. Stand by, scrape, paste. Hopefully that'll work. Of course it says it's not going to work. Because what? It's not going to work. Why would it work? Because of course. All right, well, I tried. But at any rate, in the afternoon, that's the way you can look at it and see. I think it's great. Are the sea breeze lines new? Bruce is asking. No, sir. As a matter of fact, that's the stuff that we look for and have looked for years. And oh, I've got to turn that off on your view, right? Sorry. And frankly, that's been there on our radar for years and years and years and years and years. By the way, we're watching a little bit of rainfall trying to come in from the Gulf. Not a huge concern, but it's a little bit of rainfall there. All right. So yeah, no, those lines are not new. Outflow boundaries, the lines. When you see these thin lines, what's crazy is you see them, and as soon as they hit into each other, it's like kablowy. They just explode like a head-on collision. On YouTube, Grumps Old Guy says, Eric, you're the best. Love these chats. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. First warning radar shows the bleep, the creeps, the sweeps. Unless it's jammed, the only man to give me raspberry. Low star. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Yep. All right. What was Florida's worst storm in what year? That is way too subjective to even begin to address. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Christina X over on YouTube says, thanks for that tip. I changed on my app. And I think you have to change it every time. So, like, every time you click on the weather radar, you're just going to have to click that button. Yeah. Nicole says, living in coastal Volusia County, we see it. The sea breeze we see usually collides between I-4 and I-95, depending. It's neat to see with the naked. Oh, yeah. And you see that line. Like if you're at the beach, you can literally, the sky goes blue east, and if you look west, it is a solid line where it's pulling clouds and pulling clouds and pulling clouds. It's wild to see. Yeah. All right. Emily's asking for Futurecast today. I already showed it, Emily. Somebody's late to class. I gotcha. All right, so here we are, Futurecast. Looking good, 11, 12 o'clock. The West Coast sea breeze is going to be the first one to get going. 2, 3 widespread storms, 4, 5 o'clock stormy weather from the metro off to the east, and then kind of settling 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and then continuing quiet. We'll preview tomorrow just for fun. Notice the morning Futurecast is, and my brother's going to ask for it. Here's Futurecast 9 a.m. Rain's already coming in from the Gulf. By 12 o'clock, starting to push inland. Showers around, even a few thunder showers. Tomorrow's Futurecast doesn't look that wild. Saturday morning, some rain's coming in from the Gulf, kind of progressing into the afternoon. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Futurecast is going a little bit quieter if you want to know the truth for these next couple of days. So there you go. All right. Yes, you do have to do it every time. New fix for the app? Question mark. Leave the last settings. I know. I'll have to see. Yeah. Yukon. I'm just waiting to see what Sorrels does in his year off. Seems to be staying media law in retirement, but non-hype. Does he join the? Who knows, Yukon. I will say, like telling the weather stories is a part of me, and I would struggle to retire. Like, I could see me doing. I could see myself doing coffee talk beyond retirement if this all continues. Yeah. Ren says, I'll give you $1 million for a 60-degree high. Believe me, if I could do it, bleh, I would do it. Everybody has a price. I feel like $1 million would be good. Yeah. Diane, how's kindergarten going so far this year? Well, little guy's homesick today. So woke up with a fever. So that's how that's going today. Good times. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all, my friends? Do you got anything? Anything at all? Debbie, that will be nice. Eric forever with coffee. I mean, I like it. I wouldn't have the resources of Wesh too, but in retirement. But here we are. We'll be here until the end. Thank you, Jonathan, over on X. I appreciate you. All right, people. That's all I've got. I'm gonna go check on the patient. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for hanging out for coffee talk. I will see. Hi. You're hungry? What happened to your tummy? You got hungry? All right, I'll take care of you. All right, be good, you all. Take care.